Yeah, this is a driver. I know it's been a long time, and I mean a long time. I'd have to go and look and see when the last time I put a video up. Done some streams off and on here and there, but things have just been real crazy around here and stuff. So we'll get into what's been going on with me and whatnot here in a little bit. So we're gonna be doing a load from Gallup, New Mexico, out to no to Gallup, New Mexico from Albuquerque. I just picked up over by that airplane that's opened up over there. I moved out here because, as you can tell, the whistle from the airplanes is pretty loud. This is quieter than over there, so I just popped over here for the moment. So let's go ahead and get started on this run here. I'll go ahead and get my mirrors back and all my overlays, and let's get on the road here. So I'm also not running traffic today. Since the 1.59 release, I've noticed a lot of stuttering going on with the game. I used to get stuttering. Basically, every time I would see stuttering, I would look up the left corner of the screen and I would see that it just saved. So I just blamed it on that. But um, before, I had changed some settings in the config that you have to do outside the game
and then
to
turn left.
and you'll have to ignore Leno there. He's my GPS for the day.
Turn left.
But, so with some files I would have to modify, or some things I would modify in a file to get everything to work because of the mods that I've been running.
Keep right, folks. And
I'm running a lot of, well, I wouldn't say a lot. I'm running some paid trucks
Turn right.
that I've showcased before. This cab over was one of them. And the issue in the past was if you didn't turn your page buffer up, it would not play, more or less. If you go to try to buy a vehicle or a new truck, certain brands, it would crash. I had to keep myself separated in different garages because of it. So with the 1.59 update, from what I've been reading and hearing about on videos and such, is you don't have to adjust that anymore. They're actually telling people to put it back to what it used to be.
Keep left.
And just, go about with that business. So for right now, I turned it back down to where it is, just above the blue bar there at the top of the screen. I have it that low because my frame rates is up in that corner, so I didn't want it to cover it. But I'm getting about 57 frames, which is pretty decent right here, and I cap myself at 60, so that way I don't have too many issues. But ever so often I'll see stuttering here and there. I noticed it back there in town when I was going over to pick up this load. So that's pretty much what's going on in the game side of things here. And there's a whole lot of game news out there.
And then turn right.
That we probably won't be able to get into all of it on this video here. I've actually been toying with the idea of doing news videos, kind of like how some of the guys do with Farming Simulator. I thought about doing it, but I'm not sure if I want to commit to it. It's one of those things. And a lot of it comes back into my whole health issues and stuff like that. I'm still running into problems where my now both feet are kind of falling asleep. They're going numb, but I'm also getting pins and needles and burning sensations and all kind of goofy stuff with that. And I switched doctors. I have a new doctor now, and she actually made me go redo my lab work that I just done 2 months ago because my fasting sugars were high, and also my liver numbers are high due to all the Tylenol I took for headaches. I don't take the Tylenol no more because I do want to try to preserve what's left of that liver of mine, but they're trying to figure out if I'm diabetic. So I've got a doctor's appointment next week to find out about that. I did some research on diabetes. I'm showing to be kind of on the high side of my sugars and stuff. If you know anything about diabetes, if you're fasting, anything over about 80 to 100 is too high. And my fasting last time for the lab work was 160. So that's in the high range. And I've checked my sugar here and there when I don't feel good out of curiosity, and I've seen numbers as high as 260. and that was hours. I mean, we're talking 3 or 4 hours after eating a meal or snacking or anything like that. So, and from the things I've looked up with diabetes, especially on the high blood sugar stuff, the feet issue I have is one of the known issues that you'll have problems with your feet. I think that's kind of on both sides of diabetes. I'm not 100% sure. But the pins and needles, feeling like they're on fire, you know, that kind of thing. Now, the falling asleep, you know, with the pins and needles and falling asleep is kind of similar. So I might be, you know, mixing up, you know, thinking my foot's falling asleep when it's really the pins and needles going on. So I've had that going on. I've been trying to get that straightened out. Still no really relief on the headaches yet. Those have just been what they are. With me not taking Tylenol, it's even worse. I asked for pain medication, and when I was seeing a neurologist through the last doctor network, she had prescribed me a medication. I'm not going to say the medications, but she provided me a medication that I could take when I have a migraine. So when it gets too bad, I can take one of those. And usually when, you know, anybody has a very, very bad headache or a migraine, you know, they'll take some kind of a pain relief and they'll usually go to bed. And that's me. I'll take something and I go to sleep. Or I lay down at least. Whether I sleep or not is a different story. So just trying to figure all that out and kind of get back into a rhythm. So last summer, well, let's see, when exactly was that? Yeah, it was last summer, I guess. My sister and brother-in-law and their girls moved in with me and my mom. The girls shared the room that was next to mine, and they had to sleep for school and things like that. That made it harder for me to even, you know, chat with people through Discord and so on and so forth late at night. So I kind of put a pause on the videos for that. I was going to try to do it when they were at school, but then, you know, my sister at the time, she was in between semesters with college, so I was spending a lot of time with her, hanging out in the living room, and we'd watch a lot of history channels, a lot of the history stuff. So me and her are both history buffs. So, you know, I spent a lot of time hanging out with her, and my opinion is, you know, friends and family, real life, that comes before any kind of gaming, YouTube, any kind of streaming, whatever. So I didn't do much streaming. I just did some here and there, and it was mostly because somebody else was streaming, so I streamed as well. But also not feeling good. You know, I just haven't had that drive to do really anything. I got a million things to do and no want to do any of it. And it's not like I'm being lazy or something like that. It's just I don't feel good in general. And I'm thinking now that with this high sugar numbers I've been reading, I don't know how long this has been going on, but that could be a lot of, you know, what's wrong with me in a sense. Yeah, we've had that going on. My mom is, so my sister and them have moved out. They went and rented an apartment. They were selling their home in another city and was moving to this area. So they were staying with us while they were selling that. Once that sold, they moved out. They went to and got an apartment. It's supposed to be a temporary thing. I don't know. From what I've heard, it may not be temporary. They might be there for a total of a year, but it is what it is on that. So, you know, just things like that's been going on. My mom is also away from home, so I got the house to myself, and I really wanted to do a bunch of videos, but between not feeling good and not having the mojo to do them, it just kind of set me back a little bit. And I plan to get back into it. I've got a lot of ideas for different videos, mostly going to be ATS. I'm thinking I'm going to stick with ATS. I haven't been doing Farming Simulator. I haven't had no drive to play that game at all.
Keep right, folks.
But I may also throw in some other games that I have been playing. I started playing Satisfactory around Christmas time. I picked it up on sale. I'm really enjoying that game. So I may start doing some videos on that and kind of just go from there, guys. So I'm hoping to do some more stuff. Like I said, it's going to be mostly trucking. Looking at also mixing in Euro Truck Simulator. I got a friend that I hang out with quite a bit. You probably heard him on my streams at times, but goes by Papa Rocks, or I just call him Papa. And here lately, me and him have been getting on and doing trucking together. We fire up a convoy and we just go do some runs, kind of like I'm doing right now. We usually run about 300,
then
400-mile
turn left.
runs. So there'll be longer videos, considering like this one here is going to be fairly short. I mean, I'm only 10 minutes
left.
into this one. But it'll be just me and him cruising around, running loads and just chit-chatting and stuff like that. And it'll make it a little bit more entertaining, I think, for you guys as well, because, you know, there's going to be times where we're not going to be saying anything because we can't think of anything to talk about. That's just the nature of life. But he's also he's a retired truck driver, so he has a lot of information or knowledge in the trucking industry like I do. He's been out of the loop for many years. I don't know exactly when he retired, but he's got a heck of a setup built for the trucking stuff that we do. So anyhow, to
We're here, folks.
shorten it up a little bit more,
Don't blame
he
me. You're the one driving.
hold on, let's see, where we got to park at here. I don't feel like. Oh, it's over here. We could probably try to go ahead and back into this one, I guess. I've been pretty lazy here lately. I haven't been doing any backing in, parking, or anything like that. I've just been kind of going and running. And I've kind of been enjoying no traffic on. I've been running red lights and stop signs and all that stuff. So it's just been kind of fun that way. But so we can put it in a parking spot here. And we might actually go ahead and see if we can get another short run, and I keep chatting with you guys about, you know, what's been going on. Because I've had some issues with computer stuff here recently too. Where is this parking spot? Is it to my right? Well, my way off. Tell you what, we're just going to kind of get half in here. We're just going to let them deal with it. I think that's close enough for government work. So yeah, that's pretty much that load. That's all done and over with. So see if we can find another short one here, something reasonable, and we'll just throw that into the mix here. Let's see. Oh, hold on. We need to mark it. We're pulling our skateboard today. Let's see here. Oh, we could always go back to Albuquerque. That's where we just came from. Buster Farmington. Yeah, let me see. Thinking about it here for a minute. I don't even know where we're at. We're at UOP, I think, right? Yeah, they got one here. Going to back to Albuquerque. Let's take this one here because we're already in their parking lot. It'd make it a lot easier. I usually
Hello,
go
this is Jay Leno, and I'm in your truck. And as soon as you
load up.
step out, I'm taking it.
and then start the video. So
Come on, let's
we'll
go.
over there. So my setup has changed a fair amount. Microphone has gotten moved. I have been trying to get my audio stuff all sorted out. We're gonna be lazy again. Let's do this.
My next guest is just getting ready to drive. Let's bring him up. I'm sorry.
And I'll probably
Still think
switch
I'm
my
on the
GPS
All right,
back
let's
to
keep going.
what it used to be. But I was trying out different voice stuff. You kind of get tired of the same navigation voice after a while. So, on the topic of stuff, I had a big computer failure here recently. I'm trying to remember exactly when it happened. Been about a month, maybe a little bit more. So I've had to re-download, reset up everything. So OBS was a complete cluster, as you can imagine, especially for you guys that record and stream like I do. But all my settings got wiped. So, and the other thing that really stunk was I hadn't backed up my computer for many months. So I lost a lot of stuff that I had saved on the computer. That was within the past, 4 to 6 months.
Turn right.
So that was kind of a bummer. I lost a lot of progress here in Truck Sim. I didn't lose my achievements, which is nice,
Turn right.
but I lost my progress on like where I've been and what I've been doing on here and things like that. And so as far as I can tell, what happened is that my hard drive and my laptop, which is what I use for gaming right now, it decided it was done and it bit the dust. I was playing a game when it happened, and I was playing basically it's an idle game. It's called Upload Labs, and I just had that running in the background, and I was messing with some stuff on the
And
computer.
then turn left.
And I went back and was looking at that, changing a few things, and all of a sudden the computer just locked up.
Turn left.
And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? And then it went black screen, and on the laptop screen, because I'm using a second monitor so I can see what I'm doing, it said it had a failure and was rebooting. And I was like, okay, that's odd. Well, when it rebooted, it just went to BIOS mode. And so I restarted it a couple of times thinking maybe it fixed itself, but it didn't. So I went in and started messing with the BIOS, and I'm not very knowledgeable in the BIOS, so I tend to stay out of that thing because I know I could probably get myself in trouble. So I went in there and was poking around at stuff, and I happened to go over to storage, and it showed nothing. 0 storage drives with 0 info on them, or available info or space. So I was like, well, what in the Sam happened here? So I put the computer away. I went back to the old 10-year-old plus laptop that will barely play a game at all. Basically, I was back to playing The Sims because that was all I could handle. And I got to rooting around and found out what kind of hard drive was in it, and was going to order a new one. So this laptop came with an 8 terabyte hard drive. That was like the selling point for me because I wanted enough room to store my games and files, everything. So I went to go look to buy one on Amazon, and those are $1,600 US. And I'm like, no, can't afford that. So I started looking at what smaller ones were, and a 1 to 2 terabyte, depending upon brand and yada yada yada, runs roughly around $200 to $400, which isn't horrible. And then I remembered that I had ordered something, I think on Newegg, and part of my order came with a free hard drive. So I went out in the garage and dug through all the boxes and finally found it. It was a 1 terabyte M.2. So I took the computer out of here, went and set it on the kitchen table to work on it out there, took the power cord with me, and I took that old hard drive out and I put that new one in, and it detected that one. So by doing that, then I had to come back into my room where the old laptop was running, and I had to download the install software for Windows 11, and I had to reinstall it, re-download all my games, I mean everything. It was just like buying a brand new computer, so I had to start over. So that kind of stunk, and I was irritated about that, but I got through it and made it work. And so now I'm just not installing a lot of games. I'm keeping a lot of my files off the computer now, just to save on space. So I got that all sorted out and got it back to running and everything seems to be about the same as far as how it acts with games and different stuff like that. Give me one sec. Sorry, my mouth was getting dry. I had to get a drink of my tea. So all that seems to be kind of straightened itself out. But then with some of the updates with ATS and ETS, because they do them around the same time, or within a few days of each other, I started noticing skipping problems and stuttering. I'm like, well, I can't be doing videos like that. And over here, as far as I can tell, and you guys, I don't know if you're really watching or just listening to me, but there hasn't been much stuttering. I noticed my frames have been down a little bit, but nothing wild. So I'm not too overly concerned about it. It seems like it's okay. But on Euro Truck, I was over there messing around the other day, and all I was doing is I was using my my pickup mod that I have, and I was driving around in one of the cities that I'd been to before, and I would just drive around, open up the depots and gas stations, just goofing off a little bit. Some days when I don't feel like hauling a load, that's what I do. And I was doing that and just trying to drive through town and making turns. You talk about the skipping and the stuttering, oh man, it was getting ridiculous. I mean, my frames are dropping into the 40s, and sometimes 30s at times, and I was like, this is not going to work. And that's actually when I started deep diving into game stuttering with Euro Truck Simulator and see what I can find out. So I've got some things to try over on that side. I'm trying them on ATS first because I only had small stutters here, so if it really smooths this out, then I know it'll work over in ETS. I don't want to do a video for you guys. It's just been too long. Also, in the meantime, I have switched from using the Xbox controller, and I'm now using my wheel and pedals that I've owned since COVID. I've never used these wheel and pedals until about less than a month ago. I just started using 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I'm using the Logitech G920. I have the Logitech 6-speed shifter. I have a adapter box that I had to take the shifter knob off and slide this little box to, and it's got the switches for my splitters, and I love it. I had some complications with it. It was a lot of trying to get it set up with all my buttons and figuring out what button I wanted where and whatnot, because between the buttons are similar for the most part between this and the Xbox controller. It's still got the X, Y, A, B buttons and all that, but it removed some of the other buttons that I used before. So I had to kind of move things around and rearrange things. And I was wanting to get I'm sure y'all have seen them, they're called a side panel or a button box. And you can program buttons and switches in there to do different things, your lights, your cruise control, all kind of stuff. Well, I said something to Papa about it, and he had this side panel he sent me, and I've actually still got to pay him back for that, but
Keep right, and
more or less he gave it to
right.
me. And I've been able to use it to program buttons. As a matter of fact, when I want to look around, it has a joystick on it, and I use the joystick for looking around, and there's a button that I can recenter it. So it's been pretty nice. It's been pretty cool.
Keep left.
So with news in the steering wheel, I'm now sitting a little bit further back than I normally was, so I've had to change where my microphone is. And the good thing is I have it on a microphone arm boom that's mounted to the table. I can pull it relatively close, but it's still about a foot from me. So that's probably why you hear a little bit of room echo. But I can't pull it any closer than this without it laying on the table. So there's really not much else I can do with it other than move that arm to a whole new location, which is going to require a USB extension and all kind of other funsies. So that's kind of been everything in a nutshell, guys. I'm sure there's probably a heck of a lot more I could talk about or think about.
Keep left.
Can't think of anything right at the moment. So I'm really wanting to try to get in with more videos. I'm thinking about, so the idea with me cruising with Papa is we're going to do like a multiplayer episodes, I guess you could call it. I'm not sure if you want to call it episodes. It's going to be in this profile, running these trucks, no traffic, basically arcade style, driving like lunatics. Not horrible lunatics. We're not going to drive like sins, but we're going to speed, run red lights and things like that, and just have fun and enjoy the time.
Turn left.
And that's really what gaming is about, is to enjoy it and have fun with it. Now, I know that there's purists out there and realists out there that would probably disagree with how I play, and that's fine. You have your opinion. That's fine. But I'm going to play the way I want to play.
Turn left.
I am contemplating on doing a new series
Turn left.
with a harder economy setting. I've messed with it a little bit, and I actually enjoy it. I gotta go this way. Right. Why did they send me this way? Let me go here. Try to watch my trailer now. I'm gonna scratch it on that fence, I think. I'm about to scratch my bumper. Why they brought me in this entrance makes no sense. I wasn't even paying attention. Because now I gotta clear that wall too.
We're here, folks. It's not what you thought. Hey, don't blame me. You're the one driving.
Barely cleared that wall. Okay. So like I said, I think I'm going to do a video on that. And maybe do a series. I was going to do this a while back. When I started messing with it. I started messing with it about a year ago. But when I think it was update 158 for both ATS and ETS, they didn't update it. And I didn't know for the longest time what was going on. So I'm just going to save this real quick, and then we're going to go outside and just kind of stare at our truck. Or my truck. But, let's see. Here we go. So, they didn't update it for the longest time. Well, they're finally updating it. They're doing a lot of changes in it, so that's why I got to look at it again first before I fully go with it. But I'm thinking about doing that. It's going to be a little different. They have 3 different modes of harder economy. I was running the hardcore mode, which makes everything harder. So basically, you make less money. Experience is harder to earn. Takes longer to earn, more or less. Things like that. And so I'm gonna look into that again. I've also got their extreme version, which is supposed to emulate a 25-year career, is what it's supposed to emulate. And I don't think it's going to take 25 real years, but it's going to take some time in the game. Um, and they also have it for ETS too, and I'm contemplating doing some stuff on ETS. So the multiplayer with Papa, it could be ATS, ETS. I'll mark them appropriate to what they are. Um, I may do some single player stuff like I do on ATS over for ETS as well, and I'm contemplating on adding maybe some hardcore modes for the game economy. And I plan on turning traffic back on for videos, except for the multiplayer. Once this game stuttering kind of gets figured out. 159 is pretty fresh, so there's really not a lot of information on it yet. So I'm just kind of waiting on that, and I'm doing tweaks here and there to see what I can improve. But anyways, I'm just sitting here yakking for no reason, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. It actually feels good doing a video again. I've missed doing it, been wanting to do it. It's just been hard. So yeah, I may go ahead and do a couple more videos tonight just to, emulate what I'm doing and just kind of hang out a little more. So I'll catch you guys later, and yeah, we'll see you.